I left America 6 months ago and my life is infinitely better. Let's talk about it. First things first, I've talked about this in other videos, but it cost me around $1,000 to leave the States, which is significantly less money than I ever anticipated. And I think it's a really important thing for everyone to be talking about, that it actually costs a lot less than you might think to leave the US. Since moving abroad, these are the things that have improved in my life. First and foremost, my physical health is infinitely better. Why? The food is better. The air quality is better. I'm happier. I'm less stressed out. Medicine and healthcare is way more affordable. Like, we're talking apples and oranges. People are nicer here because they are happier here. It is significantly easier to cultivate community in a place where people are trusting and loving and empathetic and kind. And I cannot stress this enough. My central nervous system is relaxed and calm for the first time in my life.
Okay, so she's bringing up some excellent points. But this is going to be my honest opinion about whether or not I think that's a good or a bad idea. And one thing I always harp about is that is never a one size fit all solution for problems in the world. So for a small amount of Americans, that may be the best thing for them to do, but it's a lot easier said than done for the majority of Americans. Um, the average American is not keen on leaving the country to go travel abroad just to have a cheaper way of living, a cheaper way to survive. You have family, you have kids, you have aunts, you have parents. Like, if you can't afford to take all of those people with you, the average American is family first. So it's, why would I pack up and leave to go over here so I can have rent that's cheap and leave my own family and leave my own country and leave everything behind me? It just, the two is not worth it to the average American. But there are a lot of things that Americans can do to learn from people in other countries, because like I was saying in previous videos, for decades now they have learned how to survive on little to no money, um and they don't rely on their government for help. They just get out and figure it out and survive. And one of the main key factors, I believe, is that they, families in other countries, stick together. Even in a lot of Middle Eastern countries, like, the daughters normally don't leave the home until they find a husband. Just things of that, like that. And they share bills, they share childcare, they share income. And I think that's a big key to survival, is learning how to live modestly but also stick together. And people, they just overall know how to live on less. They cook at home, they negotiate prices. They live below their means. They stretch groceries. They figure out ways to survive. And another thing, side hustles in other countries are normal. It's not optional. Like, that's the normal everyday thing in countries like Brazil or India, and the Philippines. Like, side hustles are normal. Like, these people have a regular job. They'll get off that job, go and do something, even if it's picking up metal and to take it to the scrap yard or whatever. They have other things going on to generate income. And Americans have been just overall pre-programmed to live a certain way and sustain a certain lifestyle. And now, as the middle class starts to shrink and get smaller and the inflation starts to get out of control, Americans are, we use the term down here down south, running around like a chicken with his head cut off. They lost. They don't know what to do. But another key point is that the community is stronger than the government. And what I mean by that in these rural or what people consider third world countries, like the pockets of people are stronger than they are as far as like the government, because in the average American got to pay attention. Like, our government is in shambles. It's weak as hell. The only thing that's holding our government up is our military and the financial backing of the US dollar. Other than that, our government here is shit, and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be people on both sides of the aisle working together to try to work together to get us back to a stronger point. But that's neither here or there. That's going to take time because our country is just so divided. It's ridiculous. But and another thing, people in other countries, they save before they spend. They don't like accumulating a lot of debt. But here in the United States, as soon as a person get a 700 credit score, they go out and buy. You know, and in other countries, they'll save up enough to build a house. It may take 5 or 10 years to save up, but when you think about it, that's better than paying on a mortgage for 30 years. And but they understand the real struggle. And that's where Americans need to learn and pick up on what these other countries have been doing for decades on how to survive and how to get by. Because as this polarizing scene, this vast landscape in the United States changes and the middle class continues to deplete and all but go away, Americans are going to have to learn how to survive. And another thing, in these other countries, they prioritize skills over title. And that's where the US is just starting to lean to. Plumbers, concrete finishers, electricians, those are going to be the top tier jobs here in the United States, because AI is going to take those office jobs. It's going to take those call center jobs. It's going to take even fast food jobs, automation, robotics. It's going to take a lot of jobs. So skills is going to be the frontier in the United States probably over the next 100 years, because you got Optimus robots coming from Elon Musk, which is going to cripple the physical human labor force overall in the world, period. But this is just a few things that's bouncing around in the side of my head. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. I appreciate your support. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And I'm trying to reach 100,000 subs here soon. And I know we can do it. Y'all have a blessed day.